Hello, everyone, and welcome back to America House Kishinao. I am Jessica, American Space Volunteer, and I'm so happy to be here, the host for today's live session, because we have an incredible guest speaker, and we're going to touch upon a topic which is very important and very related to back to school season. So, before we start, I want to tell you that we're going to be talking about active learning, which is important for teachers, and students are also welcome to hop in the chat and just express their own opinions, as well as just listen to what our guest speaker, Miss Inga, has to say. Hello, hi.
Hello.
How are you feeling today?
Excited because I'm going to speak about our school and I'm proud of our community. I think our experience will be useful. Might be useful.
Mm-hmm. So, Miss Inga Chiosa is the Deputy Director and Academic Director at Heritage International School. And with over 25 years of experience in teaching in international and national schools, she's also experienced in teaching English as a foreign language. And also, not to mention her love of involving students in different international programs, competitions, and just being out in the community. She's also experienced in team building and professional development and strategic implementation and designing educational systems and materials. She is the Cambridge International PDQ program leader in teaching and learning. She's the Global School Alliance ambassador and e-tweening teacher and the Odyssey of the Mind coach. And it's very important because she also believes that in order for students to have the opportunities, a school must have the mission to help them fight the challenges of the future through peaceful and powerful movements. And just to make sure education is the way to building communities and opportunities for teachers and students. So, Ms. Ingo, when you're ready, you can start our discussion and presentation.
Sure, thank you. I would like to start with the presentation. Okay, thank you. Uh, Dear colleagues, I'm excited to have this presentation. I hope you have been enjoying your well-deserved summer break. And as usual, I know that in all the schools, especially at Heritage, we have in August our induction weeks. It's professional development, getting ready for the courses, revising our planning. So we are very, very busy. That's why, as a teacher, when I saw the title, Teaching Leadership in Schools, my first idea was okay, we'll speak about student centered learning, we'll speak about active learning. Okay, maybe we have to speak about the quality feedback. Okay, maybe assessment for learning. And then I stopped and just remembered that very important point of professional development and sharing experience would be practical aspect. We have many courses listened, attended. How much do we use in daily practice? That's why I try to take it broader and think about teaching leadership in school, sharing our experience. When we speak about teaching, especially leadership skills, we understand how important leadership skills are for our students for future. We know there are so many dedicated teachers, but actually what we need for quality education is teaching learning community. And leadership in education for the students and the teachers should be the environment where they have possibilities and they use those possibilities. No teacher can do it by himself, herself. That's why the first point of our priorities, it was building community. So we met educators with the same belief who consider the school mission very important, who share the same ideas. And the first step was building communities. We do it every year. Every August we meet, we share experience. And not just in August. Every week we have teaching learning briefings. Any teacher can share a successful experience. Moreover, we share it with a larger community. We have it on our site, and you can find on Heritage MD the best experience shared, videos, presentations, PowerPoints. So our teachers are ready to share, and that builds day by day, every week, every month, that community where students come and feel they have the team supporting them, and they have mentors, friends, and they can trust them. It's very important that people coming to school, they trust will teach them and lead them to success, will help them gain that success they would need in future. That's why the most important would be building that community in school. Yes, you can say that, oh, in my school people are not interested in more than just academic part. Okay, I was in similar situation, let us say about 20 years ago, when I started Odyssey of the Mind, and it took 5 years of my free time. It took 5 years of coaching 3, 4, 5 teams. But I think it was the best I could do for my students, because I didn't have motivation. And do you know what? Next year, I had one more teacher coaching Odyssey of the Mind. And then we had more teachers interested in different projects. You have to start. You have to believe in what you are doing. The same happened to it-winning teams. If 5 years ago our school we had few it-winners, now most of our teachers are involved in different projects in Romanian, English, with 5 countries, 10 countries. And can you imagine how important it was for well-being of our students during pandemic times? They didn't have borders. They were not in lockdown in their flat communicating with students from absolutely new countries for them, a new experience. So community of teachers is very important. That's why it's the first we can do for leadership and leadership development of our students. Another important would be heritage environment. You can see that usually environment, okay, we have the board, we plan our lesson, we have some visual materials. You can have a look. So we use the stairs, and can you believe that the doors are so important here? Because you can see when we have literature week, it might be the cover of the book. When we have maths week, it might be, or just daily math, you can see the tasks there. And the students, before opening the class door, they see something new there. And the most important, that they participate in changing information on those doors. And the school looks colorful. You can see the picture, it's the school quad, and upper secondary students designing the cell. And you can guess that this topic will be successfully learned, not only by that class, but younger students watching that. And next year, when they study, for example, that cell, it's just one example, a few examples of how we use our facilities as environment, because learning can be everywhere, not just a whiteboard or blackboard in front of the class. That's our principle. If we speak about learning environment, you can see even parts of school, and you can imagine that picture in the middle, it's the lab. No, it's not the lab, it's hallway during the science week, when younger students come upstairs to see how older ones present their practice work. And to the right, the top right picture, it's recycled art. When we have our Earth Day, so the students can recycle and make art of that. And again, is it learning? Sure, definitely, because we show them how to do that. And you can also see that those boxes where we can stock used batteries or paper, they are not just for, I don't know, for nice pictures on the cover of our newsletter. It's used daily, and it's again learning environment. So everything where the children are during their learning time teaches, and we have to use it. So environment is also created by the teachers. That's why it's very important where the students are. So active learning is not only 45 minutes of classroom. One more, okay, successful instrument we use, the successful tools, their school events calendar points. We offer as many events as we can. You can see on our site there are so many. various events. Doesn't mean that poor students have to attend all of them and day and night they study and then they attend events. No, but we do believe that by the age when the students have to choose their future job or they start building career, they have to participate in as many activities as they can to understand more about themselves, to discover themselves. Okay, they can try one activity, then next semester they can try different activities. So they find their strong points, they find their strengths in different directions, and it's not compulsory academic only. But if the child is interested in design, if the child is interested in math club or just in sports, and then during the lessons we have motivated students, so they start managing their learning, they look for materials, they look for solutions, and they take risk. You can see activities, it doesn't mean just sport and art. It might be academic, but in an attractive form. For example, Literature Week, the students can dress up, and you can see the picture to the right. So the young student can present, okay, he can dress up only if he has the book. So he has to tell about this book. So we have fun together with learning. We invite parents to read the books, and we have academic events related to academic subjects, but they encourage students find more about that subject. And if we consider that, okay, we don't have event we need, we create it. For example, you can see to the right our Spring Fest poster. These are just few posters of our school calendar. What is Spring Fest? We combine national traditions, Mertsashor, and help international students learn about that. And we also create our new traditions. For example, decorate the spring with good deeds, and each class tries to think how they can make this spring kinder, how they can make this spring nicer. It might be art, it might be supporting your classmate, it might be helping your mom, and you feel that spring has become better. So it's part of a learning environment, and at the same time, it's learning during the school day without having this on the timetable. So you are willing to participate, you choose it, and that's why the students are motivated, and again, they manage their learning supported by the teachers. You can see the main difficulty for me was to look through huge number of pictures and select just few, because I understand we have limited time. And what I would like to share is the way we try to develop leadership and how it works practically. Because sure, you will find so many articles, but what do we need for our students? We need communication, we need creativity, we need risk-taking, we need self-development and confidence. And sure, you can see that those events will support the students, and it's just huge benefit for them. What can you see in the pictures? You would never guess, because you can see space, you can see biology. Yeah, if we speak about interdisciplinary approach, that was just math day. And our students explored math in human body, math in space, mathematics in Titanic, for example. Yeah, and they chose where they would explore math aspect and made unbelievably good presentations. So will they think that math is boring or not for them? I'm not sure. So they are growing, and I can show you only part of the pictures, because of course we had similar events for older students. It doesn't mean that just younger ones have a math day, but it would be at different levels, like project-based learning, where we have projects during the lessons. It might be STEM, it might be applying the knowledge, it might be safe internet day. So each teacher planning the year just thinks where he would create that space for project-based learning and how they would connect it to curriculum. So we are highly interested in strong future leaders. At the same time, we understand that our academic expectations are really high. How would the student have the balance between those? And when we give leadership to them, we are confident that the students will know how to manage it step by step every year, even in future. Global education is one of the aspects that helps greatly. You can see the images of our traditional International Day end of the year session. How do the students get ready? They choose one country, they discuss, it's the group decision, because very often group project means just, okay, there are a few leaders and the other ones just expect till the result is ready, and then one of them presents and 10 just stand and say, we also have been in that group, or it might be the poster. Look at this nice project. Is it about end of the year celebration? Not really. It's about geography, it's about culture, it's about personal development, it's about collaboration, communication. They decide together what country they would choose. They bring arguments, and then they study the history, geography, culture of the country, and they decide how will they present it. So they have exhibition, they make souvenirs, they make the questions for students from another classes, or just some leaflets, and on the last day of the project, you can travel all the countries just in the school quad. So it's huge cultural development, and students manage it because they tell, as in Science Week, in Arts Week, they tell about their product, not the teacher. You can see teacher just somewhere enjoying and admiring them because teacher guided the students, and then I guess it's a good example of leadership because the students enjoy and they see that they can be doing that. So in my experience, again, when I started teaching Odyssey of the Mind, the lack of confidence is what our students very often have, and they need that taste of success. For example, the first Odyssey of the Mind competition abroad, it was with my group of the students. It was fourth grade, if I'm not mistaken, and we had to create new problem at the moment, new presentation, new performance with the students from different countries. As we were the youngest, our partners were students 15-year-old. You can imagine they were 10, my students, and those were 14, 15. And my students were very shy. They said, oh, perhaps we will be just keeping flowers, and they will make the presentation. And as they had the skills we needed, actually they were presenting in the middles, and the older ones were keeping the stuff we needed there, and they were part of presentation. But when they went down from the stage, they said, wow, but we are good. And that feeling that we are good, we can do it, we can find the solution, is what our students actually need, because that's the leadership. If we bring real life into classrooms and don't make it just to have it in our planning that we have covered it. We need something the students feel, the students use, the students will have for as futures, the skills for their future. So we organize huge events, for example, at World Scholars Cup, and I know Jessica was one of the winners there. And unfortunately, due to pandemic, we didn't have it for the last 2 years. But again, you have to know that we invite the students from all Moldovan schools to take part. And the last one, it was a huge event. Children also managed then to go abroad and participate with another international schools, and it was Barcelona, if I'm not mistaken, the last one. And again, they won there and came home. We take part in international competitions. Very often you can say, okay, in Moldova, we don't have many events. There are Olympiads for certain age. But if we look attentively, there are so many competitions your students can take part. It might be language, it might be art, not just to win, but to gain the confidence, to have experience, to communicate. And one of them is art competition. And the student from Moldova won COBIS, the Black Sea Schools competition. And it was just the student who is keen on art. And also we organize events for schools in Moldova and abroad. Everyone could join spelling bee competition organized by our school for COBIS. And if we have important events, we always share. For example, meeting with NASA, it was shared with the students from the villages, and this partnership is very important for us. So we are not working for our school only. Students are part of community. It means we have to work for community, and it also builds their citizenship skills and understanding of that. And again, you can see our students winners of Olympia. So they went to Cambridge, they took the top places, and we're proud just to represent Moldova. And I think if you look to the right, it's our exhibition of global projects, global education, because in our school it became the whole department of global education. It unifies all the pathways, national, international, because global education and the vision for the future of the students is what unifies all of them. And who had to present the projects made by the students? We decided they should be students. That's why if in the room there were teachers only, our school, I accompanied our students, and they were so happy to present. And again, our team of debates, they were really good, and it was their first experience taking part in international debate competition during pandemic times. So we couldn't communicate even with the class next door because we had to be in bubbles, but they managed to communicate with the students from if I'm not mistaken, more than 15 countries, and they really understood where they should work more on history, for example, or just language, because it was great experience and they had good results, but they, being very ambitious, they decided where they would be the next year. So, and it's also career guidance, because communication is the key skill. And if you look at the heritage students, you can find that World Education Week who presents the students, because they take part in the projects, and they were selected among only few schools around the world to participate in World Education Week. The same examples are found as lecture series. So you can share successful experience, and we invite, I guess in the next presentation is not today, but I know at the end of the month, if I'm not mistaken, my colleague and head of global education, Tatiana Popa, can tell more about that, including twinning projects. So I just mentioned briefly how we make this puzzle come together and work successfully for the students, because you don't know what will create that sparkle, what will make the student think about future career. So as ambassador was speaking in one of the founders lectures, because we have even young people from Moldova who graduated different universities abroad or in Moldova. We have diplomatic corps, ambassadors. We also have people from business, from journalism, who tell about their career, tell about the way they work for community, for their development, and we share this experience, and students can see that successful people are not somebody else than children who just grew up and did it properly. And as Mr. Ambassador was saying, when he was 15, he was just enjoying the waves. And it was summer camp where he could see, where he learned about the way people can become diplomats. And he took it as his point of future career for development, and then starting exploring how he can do that, what points he would need to accumulate, how people can get it. So, and it was a great example of career, as well as for example, you can see Mr. Viral Bostan's name. So people imagine that only universities in foreign countries are outstanding, but you would be very surprised to see what is happening at Polytechnical University, and people have to know it. So we can speak about academic, but if we don't teach the students express themselves through arts, we will lack outstanding possibility to develop ourselves again. So you can see the pictures at the top, they look very professional, but do you know that annual art competition for Christmas card, and the best works are selected. Yes, our kids, everyone can participate. So it's one of our principles that everyone can participate. And what happens next? Your picture becomes card, and this card is sent to the school partners, is sent to people we love, and you can see that your picture becomes a real card. So you can see that magic, and it encourages our students greatly. And even if you don't think of becoming an artist, look at those art projects. It doesn't mean only art lessons, because we have curriculum, but art is everywhere. So the first picture is during lockdown, when our art teacher suggested making art at home, art in the bathroom, for example, and people were happy. And you know why they were happy? Because usually parents do not allow you to draw on the mirror in the bathroom. Yes, but it was school project, and they enjoyed it. So, and the whole family took part in this activity. You can see the guitars, those wonderful wooden guitars. Each class made own design. It was, again, group work, it was discussion, it was communication, it was pre-selection. And did the teacher influence their decision? No. That's why now you see that those guitars, we decorate the music room with them, and again, we bring them into real life situations when it's not like, let us imagine, let us pretend that in 10 years, when you become somebody, you would have similar situation. No, you use it here and now. You think that technique would not work for your guitar. Okay, you go to our teacher and say, what technique would work for this project? And at the same time, to the right, you can see the picture. Our students getting ready for International Day. They wanted T-shirts with the same print. And what are they doing? They ask the teacher how to do that, and they work together. Everyone works, and I think they will appreciate the nice pieces of garment they wear, because now they know how difficult it is to make them or to decorate them. So again, we can teach students what we plan, but we have to make it meaningful, to explain how we do that, to show what would be the result, and encourage if they're not ready to have the maximum at the moment, because it's just experience. And if we speak about student council, so would it be possible without guidance? No, sure, no. And our student council, they organize talent show, they support the younger students, and they shape the plans for the certain events. So, and imagine student present Moldova Climate Action Day. They were one of the 6 teams, if I'm not mistaken, selected for International Climate Action Day. Due to their hard work and their experience they gained together. So you can see our secondary student council, but just part of student council. It's much bigger, but they're busy, and they communicate very often. At the same time, it's not correct to think that, okay, you'll get older, you'll be in the secondary school, you'll be in student council. We have primary student council, and you would have to hear how wonderful their ideas are. So they are really active and involved. One of the important aspects is social responsibility. You cannot teach leadership if you don't teach empathy, if you don't help students look around and find that they're responsible for what is happening around them. It might be from simple thing to feed the birds. It's a regular activity to help the dog shelter, or to see what is happening to the garbage we collect in our school, and what is the process and why it's really a huge problem, or in critical situation to gain our effort and help community, or just organize the event if we need. So our student council, they are very effective here, and they're very involved. You can see that after school activities are also suggested by many of our students. I know that in many schools, state schools, it doesn't work just because we're a private school. Yes, there are hours of after school activities. What is the most important? To find what your students need. That's why we have surveys. That's why we make the lists and see where the students would like to be. and try to modify it, because it's this experience is unbelievable. So craft is one of the favorite activities for both boys and girls. Do you know why? Because at the beginning they have just some pieces, and at the end of activity they bring something home and they created it. So again, this taste of success is what they need. They might need hard work, and then the gymnastics presentation is the result, and they learn here that not always your success will be fast or will be easy. So we try to have various activities and our students to be involved, because we understand they will find that interest. And again, where students should participate. If you see that the student might be good there, recommend it. You can see it's Moldovan mold chef competition, and the students, two students, yes, because their biology teacher, chemistry teacher saw the potential there, and they won in serious research projects. So they were the winners after half of the year of hard work. And a bit earlier I was speaking about Kobe's art competition. So you can see fourth grader who won the competition at the level of Black Sea schools. And again, if students feel they need it, we have to help them organize. For example, Heritage Globe is our student newsletter. We have school newsletter we share every week, but our students also, where the future journalists can practice, can learn about it in our student Heritage Globe. Do teachers select? No, teachers can recommend how to remake it or how to arrange it or how to improve it, but it's students' initiative. And you can again find on our site, there are so many valuable articles, and some topics we even don't know about it. I mean, we parents, we teachers, and when we see how advanced the students are, we just say, wow. So we have to learn something, and that's good, because one of the drawbacks of teaching would be that I teach so much for so many years, so it means I know much. Okay, we have to learn, and we have to remember that as well. Again, if you look at the students, they trust you, they would like you to support them, they believe in you, and that's huge responsibility, because your teaching is their future. And we can suggest as many activities as we can. I know you might think it's time, but you are the team of the teachers and you share this responsibility. But how beautiful it was when one of the Earth days, so you can see to the right, it was, if I'm not mistaken, 3 years ago, our students collected all the plastic cups in our school, made huge balls, and asked, are you okay to have this amount of plastic? We speak about Earth Day, and on the next day you continue using plastic glasses, so plastic cups. And due to that presentation, impressive by the students and student council initiative, next day we stopped using plastic cups at school. So, and of course we have bottles. Of course, if you have left your bottle at home, we will solve it, but it was initiative. And they are not speaking about general issue on the planet and how endangered it is. They make decisions. So we have to teach them real life situations can be solved by them. And just to finish, I would like to show the contrast between the first grader coming open to the school and our graduates with it was our last cohort with IGCSE results, the first IGCSE results received by the students who are in Moldova, who didn't leave the country. They stay in the country, but they study international programs. And I would highlight again how much we should think about our responsibility, because yes, it's teaching learning, it's two-way process, but we are leading that, we are the teachers, and the fact that we plan our lessons, it's their time, and how effective we use that time would make huge impact, not only for the student, but for the society, for the school. It may be the future of the country. And I understand it sounds too general, it sounds too let us say to maybe we don't think about every day, but we do influence them and we do help them create their future. And that's why you can see our school mission, and I'm really glad that we have who do support the students, and I hope that our experience might help some schools, because it doesn't mean that that's the recipe, but this puzzle of different activities, different situations we introduce, we encourage students to take part, will prepare them for the challenges of the future, and will educate the leaders of future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Inga, for your insightful presentation. And I'm so happy that you had the possibility to present to our wonderful audience. And everything that you said is absolutely true. Because as a student at Heritage, I also have noticed how big of a community we are, how passionate students are, and teachers as well, because we work together as a team, as a family, to just fight the challenges of the future, as you said. And here are some questions that we have. So, this is more regarding to older students when they are already doing their exams. They have to prepare their CV for universities, colleges. So, what do you say that, what do you think is important that they should do at their age, like volunteering or some school projects? What do you say that they should write down?
Okay, if we think of high school, or with, let us say, upper secondary, A-level students, yes, if we take Cambridge qualifications. So, okay, let us speak before going to any university. You cannot do that. That's kind of tradition. Yes, firstly you take exams, and then maybe a month before, when you have graduation balls, yeah, you think where would you go. Yeah, some students know they make it in advance, but usually what it would be good to explore firstly. Till year 9, 10, you have to take part in as many activities as you can, just to find more about your understanding of the world, your understanding of proper strengths, because very often, people don't have their opinion, and that's why when family advises, they follow advice. But then when they spend few years at university, they understand that it's not theirs, and I think that time is the most precious we have. That's why you cannot just attend lessons. You can try participate in many. There are many few events. Free events. You can find Udemy. You can find different platforms where you have online free courses in different languages, Oxbridge and different ones. Yes. So let me see. It's Coursera. Just try different courses. Just type your interest and find where you can have some information free about that. Or for example, there are free design lessons, there are coding lessons. Try and see, is it yours? Because very often people don't know much about the jobs they would like to have. They have the image, the nice picture, but what is behind that, they don't know. And that's why when they say economics, okay, everyone imagines the bank, a nice suit, so good car, people coming to your office. But is it your domain? Are you about that? So career guidance is very important. That's why we invite the successful people to share their story of success. That's why we have career guidance meetings. And when young specialists, they just come and speak about their job, to learn more about the job. So you have to learn more about the job, you have to learn more about yourself, and if you are not sure, you can try to participate as much as you can. But of course, 2 years before you have to go to university, if you want the university to be your choice, not you to choose what another one didn't want, yes, so you have to be active and gain your points. It might be sport, it might be social responsibility, volunteering, it might be organizing. Don't look just for volunteering somewhere else. You can organize it in your school. For example, the same student newspaper, mentorship group. You can it might be semi-academic, it might be just academic, it might be basketball coaching, but you are active and universities will appreciate it. But the most important to think where you would go, and also to find more about your career, interests, because very often people are passive and they ask somebody to advise them where to go, but nobody knows more about you than you and your family. Yeah, and that's why you have to pay attention to that.
Thank you. And that is very important because we do need to switch the mindset to students not only focusing on grades, but also extracurricular activities. And we also have a question from the audience. Is there a chance to organize a session for English teachers?
Yeah, sure. We would like to organize session for English teachers. So actually, we are glad to share. You can also see on our site best practices part, and you can see maybe there are topics you would be interested. It might be some practical aspects of class management, assignments, and so on, so on, so on. So, but if you think we would have useful topic English teachers might be interested in, just write a short message to us. So our school address, or just Inga.Chiosa and Heritage Media is domain, or info, and write the message that we, for example, would like to have the session, and we are always ready. We have good English department, and their experience for 5 years, they combined national traditions with international experience, and I think it will be useful because the children have good results, and we are glad to share. And I know that there is no magic stick, because if I'm not mistaken, there was a sentence before that everything is good, but it needs confidence. So, but if we don't start, we will never have that confidence. Okay. So achievements come only when you feel confident. But if you don't start, if you don't understand that mistakes are part of learning, if you don't explain to your students that it's okay to have mistakes, the most important is not the grade, but to understand where your mistake was, what you would like to improve, and why that mistake happened. Because very often people think, oh, I'm good, it means my effort is not so important, because I'm good, I'm gifted, my IQ might be, for example, very high. But we understand that happiness is not measured in IQ, and where you communicate with another students. If you are able to express your idea, to listen to someone's idea, and to make the common decision, that creates the social relationship and makes the people feel happy, because he is listened, he's heard and understood, and maybe expectations and very often the students are like the center of universe at home, and they come to school and they have to communicate and make create that relationship. It's very important. Is anyone confident immediately? No. I have been in school for more than 30 years. Yes. Does it mean I don't worry when I have presentation? No, that's okay. But we just have to understand how to do that. And tell that everyone has some mistakes, and the most important is to learn from them. Otherwise, we will not build confidence.
That's very true. And before we end this off, we have one more question, and it's what do you say are some challenges of the future? Because you do mention this a lot, and what exactly can students do and teachers do to help these?
One of the challenges would be uncertainty, because we don't know which jobs would appear. Yes, you know that many years ago, cloud, it was just part of nature. Now, if we speak about cloud, that's virtual reality. Yeah. So we don't know exactly where your interest would be in 10 years, but we understand that's why leadership, those creativity, communication skills, and if we speak about critical thinking, risk taking, we have to educate it more than just measuring the knowledge. If you combine development of personality as the future leader, maybe not at the level of the country, but leader in his career, in his family, in his community. Yeah. So active citizenship and active position, that it doesn't depend on somebody else. You cannot just wait. Okay, maybe will not change it immediately, but if you do nothing, nothing will happen. Yeah. Because very often we like to criticize our country, for example. My question is, how much have you done for it? Okay, it's easier to travel somewhere to see that the green is the grass people with initiative. Okay, America House is a huge example, yeah. So if they were not the person with strong belief and initiative, we wouldn't have this experience, yeah. Somebody starts, and you have to share your ideas, encourage people, make the change. So we need change makers, and I think that's the most important. We have to teach the students that it's not about somebody else, it's about you. Some changes are not faster because, again, virtual reality is against us. At school, you have to study the whole semester to have good qualification, and in game, you just, I don't know, take a tool and you are the winner or go to the next level. So we have to teach that bringing real life situations into the school. It might be lesson, it might be school environment, but it's our duty. We cannot split the real life and the academic performance at school.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And I also want to say thank you to our wonderful audience. Thank you, Oscar, Eugenia, Olga, and Ala. Thank you all so much for joining us as well, and for your encouraging and lovely comments. And Ms. Inga, do you have any last comments to say?
Just to wish success, because I guess one of the proofs that we are doing it properly would be the fact that our students during summer are doing internship, are volunteering, are trying to make changes. That's why it was my pleasure to receive the invitation sent by our students.
Thank you so much. And I hope you all take into account everything that Miss Inga has mentioned and to use it for useful activities this summer as well before it ends and go back to school. Thank you so much, guys. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.